Now, even the non-Jewish Portuguese population are called dark. We have images of them showing who these people are despite their skin color. Now, look what it says here. On approaching the shore, the Englishman begins to observe some of the novelty. Heavy fishing boats with large lanterns, sails plunge through a rough sea and outstrip the packet. They come near enough. His attention is drawn towards the mariners, whose dark complexions, meager countenances, and rag dress immediately announce a different race of men from those of the same occupation whom he has just left. All right? And over here on the right-hand side, it says the Portuguese are generally dark complexion and thin with black hair, irascible and revengeful in their tempers, and eager in their gestures on trivial occasions. And an Englishman or Frenchman may be distinguished in foreign countries by an air and manner peculiar, to his nation, which he would attempt in vain to disguise. But any meager swarthy man may pass for a Portuguese. Upon reaching Portugal, the people are distinguished from English by dark complexion and look like a different race. Observation of a journey through Spain and Italy to Naples, etc., etc. Volume 1 by Robert Semple, 1807, pages 2 through 6. All right. Next slide. Now, both Spanish and Portuguese non-Jews called dark and swarthy. Look what it says here. The Spaniards are generally tall, of a swarthy complexion. Now, if you look on the right-hand side, it says over here, the Portuguese are friendly and generous to strangers. In personal appearance and demeanor, they much resemble the Spaniards, being generally of a dark complexion and of grave deportments. All right? There you have examples where, and by the way, this is from the Geography of the Productive System for Schools, Academies, and Families by Roswell, Chamberlain, Smith, 1855, pages 241 and 243. All right. Now, here we have an example of the Laplanders. Geography of the Productive Systems for Schools, Academies, the same book, page 228. The Laplanders are of lowly stature, dark complexion, ignorant, and superstitious. Now notice how they're describing these people as dark, but not morphologically looking like Bantu Africans. Because I guess in the world that this guy lives in, anytime he sees dark or whatever it is, he just assumes Bantu or something. Now, if he's saying that I'm strawmanning him, it's based on the way that he argues against us. Oh, right. They're saying that dark and swarthy is never used for black people. No, we never said that. What we're saying is that the dynamic range of dark, swarthy, black, Negro is used in ways that is not always consistent and does not always mean Bantu African. All right. Next slide. Portuguese Jews called swarthy and mentioned amongst Armenian and Arabians as taking the indigenous tint, indicating that both the Jews and the indigenous Portuguese are both swarthy. But upon investigating their images and depictions, they are not African or the ancestors of Black Americans. So this is from Notes and Queries, a medium of intercommunication for librarymen, artists, so on and so on. Volume 19, 1859, page 153. And it says, nay, even the Jew of England, says the Encyclopedia Britannica, is white, while the Portuguese Jew is swarthy, the Armenian olive, and the Arabian copper-colored, each taking the indigenous tint. Meaning that wherever they went, they started taking on the appearance of the people, more than likely because they intermarried with the people there. So it seems that a lot of these guys ignore this idea of intermarriage. You know, they just want these Jews to just be black and, you know, call it a day. But I'm sorry, but the fact of the matter is that we have to read these sources and consider context, consider that these Jews were scattered into various places, and they're going to start looking like the people around them if they intermarried, which they did. All right. Next slide. More sources showing that non-Jewish Portuguese were also referred to as dark-skinned. This is Travels in Portugal, Oswald, Crawfurd, 1875, page 162. Now look what it says right here. The complexion of the northern Portuguese is mostly dark and the hair black. You notice that the Portuguese keep getting called, and these are the actual Portuguese, not Jews, but Portuguese. They keep getting called dark. All right.
Right.
Next source. Look what it says right here. According to the source, let me actually read it first. But to return, one remarkable proof of the superior beauty both of the ancient Greeks and modern Levantines, or people of the Levant, is there not being such a thing as a flat nose, which is one of the greatest deformities of the human figure amongst them. Now keep in mind, this is a racist source, keeping in mind that it was made by people of that time, and we're not advocating or trying to justify the sort of language, but this is how they spoke, all right? Now, Skalgiger goes as far as to assert there is no such thing as a Jew with a flat nose, and that all the Portuguese Jews have alkaline noses, which is the reason that such noses are called at Lisbon des nez le Juvi, meaning the nose of the Jew, I assume. Yep. So according to the source, flat noses appear to be a rarity amongst Portuguese Jews, alkaline noses being more prevalent, while not exclusive to blacks. Flat noses are a common occurrence in sub-Saharan Africans. If Sephardic Jews are Negroes, they would certainly have flat noses amongst others, and not monolithically des nez de la Juvi, the nose of the Jew.
Right,
so
which is...
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm saying, which is the typical nose that people will talk about. Like, for example, if people want a quick reference, just look up Josephus's bust.
Right. Yeah, man. Y'all already know, and it's still nah, man. We ain't done yet. A new review. Now, this is from a new review of literary Curiosities and Literary Intelligence, Volume 1, 1782. 1782, my man. This is from the 1700s, page 34. Man, we going in on these dudes.
Bro, this shit. I don't see how they can respond to this.
Oh, man. Probably by misrepresenting us. Now look what it says right here. Now, this is from Eli Meeker, 1830, Sermons on Philosophical, Evangelical, and Practical Subjects designed for the use of various denominations of Christians, pages 37 and 38. As Jews have inhabited every climate that is not extremely cold, so that they changed their complexion in every case and acquired some likeness in color, form, and feature to the people among whom they have for a long time lived. In other words, their intermarriages, they started looking like the people around them. The idea which some entertain of their existing with the contrast of colors, white and black, is incorrect. It is not proper to divide them into two classes of white Jews and black Jews. They are dispersed throughout every country in the world and have four differences in complexion: the fair, the swarthy, the olive, and the black. In whatever region they are found, they are marked with a peculiar color of the natives. I'm gonna read that one more time. In whatever region they are found, they are marked with a peculiar color of the natives. Jews who live in Britain and Germany, and who are descendants of past generations in the same nation, have as intermixture of a fair and ruddy complexion, nearly resembling that of English and Germans. Those of Spain and Portugal are swarthy, but little varied from the features of Spaniard and Portuguese. I'm gonna read that one more time. Those of Spain and Portugal are swarthy, but little varied from the features of the Spaniards and Portuguese, meaning the Jews didn't look dissimilar from their Spaniard and Portuguese counterparts in Spain and Portugal. In Syria, they, like the Syrians, are nearly of an olive color, but in India, they are said to be black. However, they have not the blackness of the African countenance.
Wow.
Although they are peculiarly dark. But to what shall we ascribe the very different shades of complexion, if not to dissimilarity at birth, the variety of climate, manner of living, and other so on and so on. You know, there you go. And not only that, they are known to be descendants of one family. Look at this. They are known to be the descendants of one family and to have but very few intermarriages with other nations. But we know for a fact that we know for a fact with the genetic studies that that's not true. They did a lot of intermixing. Let's just keep it real. Jews did intermixing, all right? Like any people group, they did intermixing, all right? So point blank though, how was it that they looked during this time? This was in 1830. Remember that our friend was using a source from the 1800s, right? Talking about those black Jews. But what did it say about India? But in India, they are said to be black. However, the Indian Jews have not the blackness of the African countenance. Now look what it says right here. Sephardim and, we got to go to the next slide, Matt. Sephardim and Ashkenazim share features. A picture of England containing a description of laws, customs, and manner of England by M.D. Archenholz, translated from French by Johann Wilhelm von Archenholz, 1790, another 1700 source, page 113. Jews are allowed in England as well in Holland. The free exercise of their religion, their numbers, and their riches are therefore continually augmenting. One is astonished at the prodigious difference between the Portuguese and German Jews established in that island. Dress, language, manner, cleanliness are all in favor of the former, who indeed can fierce be distinguished from Christians. This extends even to their prejudices and their public worship. The features peculiar to the whole race are the only particularity that they have in common. Ooh, that's a cut, man. That is a cut.
That's ridiculous right there, man.
Yeah. Oh man.
Especially the part where we read earlier, it says wherever they go, they actually take on the color of the natives. That's game over right there.
Man, I wonder if these guys kind of wish that man, I wonder if at this point they kind of regret trying to come at us, man. But hey,
I'm gonna be honest with you.
But I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet, man.
I know, bro, but I'm telling you, if I was in there.
What they look like: images of Portuguese made by Africans in West African salt cellar ivories. Let's go ahead and look at some of these, man. What it says right here: salt cellar. This is from 1525 to 1600. Look at how they were depicting. This is how they were depicting Portuguese people. Now look how they were depicting them, man. Look at the noses. Look at everything, man. Look at this. All right, we can just run through these a little quickly. Let's just go through these a little quickly. All right. Now there's one here, the salt cellar, that says figure on the bowl depict Portuguese men identifiable by their costumes, beak-like noses, and straight hair. And remember, you had some of those Jews that were said to be virtually indistinguishable from Spaniards and Portuguese. Man. So you had Sephardic and Portuguese Jews, or Spanish and Portuguese Jews, that look like these people, bro. And guess what? We're going to show images of those people. We're going to show images of the Spanish and Sephardic Jews in their own Haggadahs. All right, let's just keep going. Just run through these. Oh, here's one right here that says, the one on the screen, with Portuguese horsemen and other figures. Now these were actually made by West Africans. Keeping in mind, it says carved by lyre craftsmen. I can't see that. Something craftsmen working to Portuguese specifications with later replacement lid. West Africa, Nigeria. All right. We actually if we can just go. We can just run through these a little quickly. All right. And then we can get to the relevant slides that says images of Sephardic Jews in Iberia. All right. All right, actually, real quick, if we could just go back to that one image with the person on the horse. Remarkable and rare example of the pieces that arrived in Lisbon in the 15th and 16th century, originating from the west coast of Africa. So it shows, how Portuguese were depicted, and So in other words, it's very clear that these people were not being depicted as and by the way, to think that you had Sephardic and you had Spanish and Portuguese Jews that look like these people. That's a dagger in and of itself. But let's see what they look like. The images of Sephardic Jew Haggadah. And I'm pronouncing it that way so others can pronounce it. I could pronounce it more properly, but I'm guessing, or the Haggadah, or the Haggadah, or Haggadah. The Haggadah is the service book used in Jewish households on Passover Eve to celebrate the Israelites' deliverance from the Egyptian enslavement, as described in the book of Exodus. The reading of the Haggadah, which literally means narration or telling, conforms with the biblical commandment. And you shall tell your son in that day, saying, it is because of that which the Lord did for me, that I came forth out of Egypt. Exodus 13:8. Traditionally, Jewish families gather together for special ritual meals called seder, or meaning order. During the seder, the Haggadah is read, providing the structure, for celebration, which is divided into 15 steps. So you guys can see that there. That just gives an insight into it. And let's actually go to the next slide. Now, this is the Brother Haggadah. The children of Israel liberated from bondage leave Egypt, in another illustrated Haggadah from Catalonia. This is from 1330 CE, AD, or 1404, pardon me. Or as you can see there, the more appropriate dating. And we're going to get a close look. So it says right here, before we go there, just to read a little bit, British Library holds one of the most important collection of Hebrew manuscripts in the world, and among them, a number of lavishly illuminated books can be found. Perhaps the most splendid of all is the Golden Haggadah, which owes its name to a rich series of biblical scenes on gleaming background on gold leaf. So these date to 1320, and they were made perhaps in Barcelona for an anonymous patron of great wealth. All right. According to recent studies, the Brother Haggadah was produced around 1330 CE in a style attributable to Catalonia, Spain. It is so called because of its connection to the Ryland Haggadah held in Ryland Library, Manchester, to which it serves as model, right? And it just pretty much gives some seats. So let's look at some of these. Let's just go ahead and look at some of these. Now look at these Jews, man. Again, does that look like Bantu Africans?
No, sir.
Now I will say this. Their skin looks a little swarthy, but they're certainly not Bantu Africans, though. Let's get a closer look if we can. Closer look. Look at that. Swarthy complexions, but look at their features, man. Bro, this is a dagger. This is from 1330. 1330. Let's show some more. Look at that. Notice that some of them have swarthy skin. Some of them have the sort of feature. They all have the features that these guys reject, but these are the Jews in Spain and Portugal. And well, more specifically in Barcelona. Let me be more exact. Not Spain. Let me be more correct. These are the Jews in Catalonia, right? All right. Let me be more correct and exact. All right, we can keep looking at some more of the images. We can look at some more of the images. All right, it says the Haggadah is being recited at the eve of Passover in a 14th century AD Catalan synagogue, and the Sephardic family is celebrating Passover, right? This is from 1325, or yeah. All right, let's go. Look at this, man. This is how they made Jacob and Esau. You know how they'll say that the Esau is the white man and that, Jacob is a black man, but clearly not in this. Oh,
bro,
man.
Listen, man. I want to see them. I want to have my jaw drop when they present their information. Like, man, what we present was wrong, but we are blowing it up, man, with a nuke. Yeah. Man. This is irreversible right here.
Mm-hmm. It's bad, man. It's bad. All right, next slide. Look at this, man. Now, let me actually read this. Give me one moment. 1320 to 1330. Man, look at how they did. Man, look at how fair-skinned these guys look, though. Yeah, we did see some Jews that were dark-skinned or swarthy, but definitely not morphologically the way that these guys interpret swarthy to mean. Look what it says right here. 1320 to 1333, Golden Haggadah, illustrated Jewish text for Passover, done by medieval Spanish Iberian Jew Depi, citing scenes from the Bible, fair-skinned Jews depicted. It's a wrap, bro. It's a wrap. Nah. We not done yet, man. Medal of Gracia Nasi, the younger Portuguese Jewess, circa 1550. Bro, that's not a Bantu African woman. She has the sort of features that they would call quote unquote, I don't know what, they like to misuse their terminologies, but definitely not looking Bantu African at all. Bro, this is a dagger. This is a dagger. The medal is the earliest known example of a Jewish subject in a Hebrew inscription, as well as extraordinary historical document of one of the most prominent Jewish families of the 16th century. The Gracia Nasi portrayed here originally Beatriz Mendez Beneviste Garcia, 1540 to 1596, was the young wife of Samuel Nasi and the niece of the older Gracia Nasi. Right? Now look at the dates. 1510 to 1569. Look at these 1500s. A woman of extraordinary wealth and a key figure in dramatic events of international importance. In the early 16th century, the family resided in Portugal, one of many new Christian families. I'm just gonna skip ahead. Samuel Nasi married the younger.
Just read about that.
Yeah. Samuel Nasi married the younger Gracia Beatriz, daughter of Brianda in Ferreira in 1557. Now I'm gonna just quote the highlighted parts to save us some time. The uniface medal was created by Pastorino de Pastorini in 1557 to 58. At left is the sitter's name in Hebrew characters, and the right is a Latin inscription. Anno Atas, and it gives the year.